Hello, everybody, and welcome here to Charlotte Motor Speedway. Not for the oval for tonight's race here for week 4 of the Prestige Racing Series and the Prestige Cup Series, but here on the road course for the Charlotte Roval. Hello, my name is Christian Logato, your lead producer and commentator for tonight's race here for week 4 of the Prestige Cup Series. Just 10 minutes left, and it's a little under 10 minutes left in practice, and let's go ahead and look at some of your fastest drivers on track right now. And currently Jacob Quill first with his teammate, and Zachary Trevino P2 on the board. See Gordon Fisher down there in P3, and Tyler Curley back to P4. Aiden Lucas going to run at your top 5. Right now we're looking on board with the 77 of Wyatt Thompson. And this number 77 machine currently P8 on track right now. Once again, already showing that potentially we're already going to have, once again, another cool motorsports and performance domination here. Obviously, we've seen those cool machines look really quick all season since the drop of the green flag here to start this season, and you already see those two, the 29 and the 8, 1 and 2. Looking down the charts, actually, I don't see any other of the Quill machines out. Yeah, at least in the session right now, number 3, not currently on the racing surface. Looking at the number 77, Wyatt Thompson. Actually, we're gonna go back to Zachary Trevino, E2. As he goes out of that first chicane. We're gonna go down here into this last chicane up in the, and we're gonna go right on board with this driver, and he's gonna show you guys around this track. Down in there, you're gonna have a braking zone down in the turn 1, going into turn 3, a little swooping left-hander. Going down to turn 3, another heavy braking zone that will set up. In the turn 4, you're gonna want to put that car on the left side. Late apex down and out of turn 4, down this long straightaway. A little bit of a lift going into turn 5, down into turn 6, another heavy braking zone. Try to keep the momentum up as you get down into turn 7. Gonna keep that car low, up against the wall, set up into turn 8, back onto the oval. Once again, you're gonna want to try to keep that momentum up. Going down NASCAR 1 and 2. Down the backstretch. You're going to see them break anywhere between probably the 5 and the 3 mark. Got to use up those strips and those bumps as much as you can down here, out of that first chicane. Coming down into this last chicane. See a lot of guys try to be aggressive under the brakes here. Use up some of those turtles. Down here, that's going to complete a lap here at the Charlotte Roval. Like you might have got a 1x sometime during that lap because it does not show a time for that, but it's pretty good, well put together lap to show you guys how to navigate this place. Try to take a look through some of this field. You see Tyler Curley in P4 in practice with the Smiling Friends machine. I think a new season's coming out sometime this year. They started producing that TV series, so really cool to see that team coming out. Tyler Curley, one of those cars that I've had, I believe they come out with different schemes every week. I feel like you're gonna see him taking off. Really cool to see all the different schemes that these drivers are showing out with. See him take a different line coming back here onto the oval. Nicholas Rowe, there he is in that 3 machine. I was looking for him on the charts. It was up further You see Nicholas Roden, the number 3 machine, a third of that Quill Motorsports camp, up there P6 and practice. That case, and the number 66 is number 66 Toyota. DJ Collins right there in P13. So these two put together. See him, that number 81 Lucas Oil machine back there. Riding behind you, actually, the P12 of Zach Case right there in that 66. So maybe trying to learn from that former Toyota right in front of him, trying to learn the track. That's relatively similar times, a 5.6 to a, well, now a 22.7 to a 23.6. So Zach finally picked up the pace. As I say that, a little bit of a mistake out of the 66. Eli McDonald back here in 16th. This green machine. Eli McDonald with a little bit of a tumble there. Talking to our race director here for tonight's race. Got some better info for a little segment that we're going to have planned later in the broadcast. Zach Ruchavino back on track. Let's go back and look at some of these guys back here. Back here in 17th, Benjamin Bushnell in the very familiar blue and yellow Nike machine. And him run this all the time, making a mistake down here, and that's going to be something you're going to have to look at. Super easy to overdrive the corners, especially in these heavy braking zones in these next-gen cars. Remember, we did have that update with the next-gen package, and it really has dramatically changed the way these things drive. So you're going to see a lot of that. Some mistakes being had. You know, road courses are not the strong suit for a lot of these drivers, obviously. You know, primarily in NASCAR Cup Series, you know, a lot of these guys don't do a lot of road course racing, and they're just going to try to hang on, try to get a good finish here. Nicholas Ammons in this 09, the Skittles machine, back here in P20. Alice Eskridge. Not the season we thought he'd have. I remember ran really well last season. You know, our part-time race analyst and kind of crew chief guy, AJ Moore, really talked up this 45 machine at the start of the season, and has not been able to catch a lucky break here in these first 4 weeks. And right now, sitting P22, maybe you can get a little bit more speed out of that back marker machine. That is the sponsor of the car, not a adjective of the 45. We know he can be really quick, but we're gonna go see if we can find this camera. Well, you can see right there, back marker on the side of that 45 machine. That I could have sounded a little bit construded. Justin Wilkes back there in P24. It's number 93, Chevy Camaro, the Monster Jam machine. With just under a minute left in practice, we see Jordan Fisher back on track, P3 in practice. Going looked really quick, regardless of where we've gone. Showing that right now. Right behind those 2 quill machines. Just like that. practice will come to an end. And Jacob Quill, Zachary Javino will be your 1 and 2 in practice. Going into qualifying, qualifying is going to be very big here for these drivers. You know, track position is going to mean a lot here for, you know, where you're going to start in this race, where you want to go. Looks like the sim automatically grabbed Zachary Chavino, so we're going to go ahead and look on board and see what this 8 machine can do. Obviously, we saw him P2 in practice. See what he can do here in this number 8 Chuddy's machine. You're going to see some drivers, they're going to be really aggressive out of the gates to get these tires warmed up. Some drivers aren't. They're going to try to be a lot more passive, especially at these road courses, to try to keep the tire, I wouldn't say cool, but to not burn them on this out lap. Looks like Zachary's he's gonna do the first option. He's gonna just go out here and push, get some heat in these tires to set up these 2 laps. I believe these drivers do have 2 laps set here, and obviously with only 5 minutes in qualifying, I think it might be even 4 minutes. They got to go out there and they got to go quick. You know, to get this out lap set and 2 laps set. It's gonna be tight. I really don't think anybody has the option to go down here and to try to tire save. They got to come out here, get these 2 laps done and done quick. But coming in line, it's number 8 will start his first lap. And I think that's an interesting strategy call from the admins, right? Not giving them 10 minutes. I don't even think they give them 5 minutes to come out here and then to get everything set up. They're giving them 4 minutes, which means there's no tire, there's no cheese, there's no tire saving, there's no nothing. You got to come out here, you got to push to get. If you want to set 2 laps, you have to push, and you're gonna have to go quick to get these 2 laps set. I think with qualifying, it will give them these drivers the benefit of the doubt. Remember, I think once you hit the end of it, I think it'll give these drivers an extra maybe minute and a half to complete their lap. I'm pretty sure is how it works on these road courses. So it'll be interesting to see. But and now Trevino on a decent pace right now. And now one of the drivers still in the green coming to the end of this lap. I'm going to line to complete his first lap. Give him the pole. 120.9. He's going to spin that car out, and I think that's going to be into his qualifying run. Tyler Curley with the mistake. Aiden Lucas, P2 right now, 122.5. Right behind, you see Quinny with a 122.9. See Eli McDonald's out on track in that number 73. This will be the start of his second lap. Must have had a 1X on that first lap, so he's going to try to make something out of this. And a lot of drivers have not even come out on track yet, which means they're not going to qualify. I mean, very interesting. A lot of these drivers just don't really feel comfortable, wanting to start up front. I suppose right now only 12 drivers who have set a valid lap time. McDonald should get around here to complete this lap. Gonna be tight. Yeah, it's still currently only 12 drivers who have completed a lap time. You'll see the top 12 times on the board right there. And everybody else will be sorted by I rating. Lap seemed pretty clean for the 73. Let's see if it will give it to him. 126.1 .2. So yeah, we'll give him the time. P11 for that driver. See Jackson Brown out on track. I think it will give him the benefit of the doubt. You do see that fourth Will performance machine. Did you see Jackson Brown blink out? And I think it's just due to qualifying ending. And that is the case. Just like that, qualifying under wraps, and we did not even get to see it. His lap time. But Jacob Quill, he's been the man of the hour. Takes your pull. And as we get ready for your starting lineup, we need to our paints. As we get ready to get your race underway, we're going to allow a lot of these drivers to get their setups in and everything else like that. And then we'll get your starting lineup up here. We're still waiting for, I would say, a good quarter of the cars to join in. Get your starting lineup here, presented by High Velocity TV. Jacob Quill, your pole sitter, is that with Zachary Trevino. His teammate gonna run out that row 1. Row 2 gonna be Jordan Fisher with Nicholas Rode. Row 3, Aiden Lucas with Oliver Quinney, Wyatt Thompson and Zach Case gonna run out row 4. Gabriel Goli and Jake Collins gonna round out that top 10. 11, Reeve Simmons with Eli McDonald. Chris Emerson and Justin Wilkes gonna round out that top 14, with Tyler Curley and Gio Turpin gonna be 16th and 17th. Brandon Kiger and Joseph Enright with Wyatt Youngblood and TJ Handley. See Eskridge and Brown there in row 2. Beekman, Powell, Ammons and Helms, Eric and Galvin. And lastly, running out the rest of your field will be Burness, Simmerhorn, and Jones. We are trying to find Hanley. But we do have some unfortunate news, and it's very saddening to hear from everybody here in the Prestige Cup Series, everybody around here. But you see this number 07 right here, running a scheme honoring police officer Philip Wagner, a police officer who served for the Lorain Police Department over there in Lorain, Ohio. And unfortunately, on July 23rd of 2025, Lorain was killed on duty. Really is tough to hear. Lorain, from what I was told, it pulled over to eat lunch with his fellow officers and was attacked by a civilian with an armed civilian, and unfortunately lost his life on the 23rd. Lorraine left behind one child as well as his wife, and now we're gonna take one more lap and just dedicate this to him and everything it is. And once again, everybody here with the Prestige Cup Series and everybody else, we're praying for you, praying for your family, praying for everybody. So we're gonna go ahead and turn off the sim audio and have a moment of silence for a fallen hero and a fallen veteran. We're done with our moment of silence for Philip. Once again, condolences to his whole family, the Lorraine Police Department. I can't even imagine what you guys are going through and everything else. But, you know, in my opinion, there's only one way to honor Philip, is to come out here and put on a great race for you guys at the Roval. Once again, I forgot to mention that Lorraine was, that Philip was awarded the Purple Heart and the Medal of Honor, and he was laid to rest yesterday by his friends and family all around him. Once again, deepest condolences to everybody involved with that family. But once again, there's only one way we can make up for everything he sacrificed, and that's put on a good race. We're going to see the green flag here at the Charlotte Roval. I just started to see some spillage that out there in the back on lap one. Obviously, cold tire is going to be something you really have to look at when it comes to these next gen cars. And it's going to be interesting to see, you know, who's out here early. You know, we already see a lot of drivers who have parked it. It's like looks like Jake Collins down there in the pits early. Chris Everland's back there. A lot of drivers back there, but Jacob Quill takes your lead early. Oh, you see Zachary Trevino with an issue. You know, I had to do that slowdown, missed that backstretch chicane, and was unable to get it slowed down. So he did slow down during that chicane to kind of mitigate the damage. And just like that, even with him having that mistake, there's already kind of a 4-car breakaway. Jacob Quill leading lap 2, going into lap 3. Jordan Fisher moved his way up into the P3 position. Aiden Lucas And Zach Ricciavino already on the hunt, trying to run down this 87 machine. A little bit of a breakaway from behind there. Oliver Quinney's started to get away from that P6 battle. And Nicholas Rudd, one of those full performance machines, right back there in 6th. That case back there in 7th in that number 66 machine. Gio Turpin in the 42, up 8 positions, your biggest mover right now on the track, alongside Brandon Kiker, your winner at Daytona, and Joseph Enright, all also up 8 positions from where they started. At your top 10, Reef Simmons back there, kind of by himself right now in 11th. Saw the 8 get around that 87 machine for to take over that P3 position. We're gonna do a little bit of a different race rundown. Obviously, we had a little bit of a different pre-race ceremony for Philip there. So obviously, you see on the ticker 45 laps. We will get a caution at lap 12 that will stop the race. I'm not sure if it's gonna be a full length, full course caution, but we are gonna get at least a. The stage will end at lap 12, so that's what all these drivers are racing forward and towards. I want to look at Tyler Curley. Got caught up in that first lap mayhem. You already see a lot of front end damage to that 43 machine. Last week's winner. Remember, dedicated that win to the late Ozzy Osbourne, who unfortunately passed away this month as well. You know, a lot of loss this month. Remember, I mean, we lost Ozzy. Obviously, Hulk Hogan passed away this month, and obviously the following we lost Philip in the line of duty, right? And it's a lot of loss and a lot of sorrow for this month of June. It's just not the month I imagine all of us wanted to have, but no, new month on the horizon. Hopefully we get a better August. You see the 45 getting ran down by Beekman. Zachary Beekman, the league owner. Wasn't the most enthusiastic about the Roval, but trying to make some headway. Up 8 positions from where he started as well, so maybe took advantage of some of that lap 1 mayhem. Car looks pretty clean compared to some of those drivers. Look at that 43 behind him. Has a lot of damage. Just 95 looks pretty clean, and you already see him trying to take advantage. You see the 9 machine. Galvin with a mistake. Beekman's going to move up into the top 15. Trying to run down this 45 of Eskridge. He battle inside the top 10. That 42 of Gio Turpin trying to run down to 66. That's that case. Ooh, 66 almost off track right there. You're starting to see, you know, some of the guys who are a little bit more prepared for this Roval start to drive through the field or start to get away from the rest of the field. You look at a Jacob Quill, a Jordan Fisher, a Zachary Trevino. They've already put, you know, a 5-second gap on the rest of the field. You know, even Zachary Trevino back there in P3 has a 3.5-second gap to the 87 of Aiden Lucas. You see Gio Turpin make that pass on that 66 machine. Gonna have some battles back here. Reeve Simmons getting caught by the 48 of Tyler Helms. Helms up 16 positions from where he started. Helms has looked pretty racy throughout the whole season. Decided not to set a lap in qualifying, so he's gonna have to dig himself out of a hole right here, right now. E11 ain't too bad. We're starting back there all the way outside the top 20. Wyatt Thompson. Back there in P12. See the Youngblood machine making a move on some of these guys. I was told that Youngblood was not racing for tonight's race. He was having some connection issues. We have some cars stopped up here in the turn 1. But this is the car I want to focus on right here. This is obviously, you see Wyatt also with that Fallen Heroes car. You know, Philip was one of Youngblood's teammates is really good friends, and he, Wyatt came out to me earlier today and said, "Hey, I want to do something for Philip." He meant a lot to one of my sponsors, and we made sure to make this happen. And obviously you see this one, and now the '07 running those cars, and trying to make everything we can out of the situation. Obviously, I was never associated with Philip or anything else, but I can't imagine what's going on with the family and the Lorraine Police Department. I can't imagine they're any less stunned than I am, right? It's terrible to hear that kind of news, and for the Lorraine Police Department, I condemn you for everything you're trying to do right now. I saw, I read up on some articles, as we see right there, the '07 and the 1. That's got to be a special moment right there. Maybe some screenshots can be taken of that. See TJ get around Wyatt. I read it online, and luckily, he got buried with the laid to rest, as they say, surrounded by a friend and family. We saw that down there in Cleveland. He had a full service and was commended for his courageous sacrifice, and wish the best for the family and everything else. See the '07 putting the bumper to the 25. Benjamin Bushnell. I appreciate all the comments down in the chat below, trying to keep me updated on Wyatt. I was told that he wasn't going to race, and I'm happy that he is. I really am. It's Wyatt's, team owner and everything else that was affected by this, and I'm glad that he's here to represent, Philip and everything, and that team and that sponsor and everything else. So TJ up to P17, up 2 position before he started. I was looking at TJ. TJ looks like had a big mistake. Let's go up and look at your leader. We haven't talked about him at all with all the chaotic starts and wrecks we've had. Jacob Quill up here leading. We've got about a 1.5 second gap on the 39 of Jordan Fisher just down the road here. Fisher almost matching lap time right now. It looks like Bill was about 3/10 quicker that last lap, but let's see what he runs here compared to that 29 machine. Like a 5 to a 4. So Jordan was a little bit quicker this lap. It's definitely not over for this 39 machine. To catch back up, you see him get around the slower lap car right there. That Monster Jam machine. Back to some battles. Looks like Oliver Quinney getting some pressure from the 3 of Nicholas Road. Ooh, Quinney locking up the brakes there. Gonna allow the 3 to get his nose in there side by side out of turn 3. Out of 4. Down the backstretch. That 3 is gonna have the advantage. No, he won't. Because the 41 will clear. Oh, the 41 with the huge mistake. Quinney with the huge mistake out of 5. Gonna cost him a lot of time. That's gonna allow Nicholas Road to get up into the top 5. So now, Will Motorsports, Will Performance, 1, 3, and 5. The last out of those Quill Performance machines is Jackson Brown down pit side with a lot of damage. Back there in 29th. Looking at some more battles on track potentially. Blake Eskridge back here is getting a little bit of attention from the 9 of Devin Galvin. And everybody is really, really spread out already compared to what I expected. Remember, we are going to get that stage caution on lap 12. Lap 45 go around that back marker machine, a key partner for the Prestige Cup Series. Right now, everybody's starting to get kind of single file out and trying to find their own pace. Like Jordan Fisher might have had a little bit of an issue. He's lost a good second and a half to your race leader. Speaking of race leader, I mean, he's been on his A game. Let's go ahead and ride on board with your race leader. He's going to show around actually how to race this track. I mean, really hitting his marks right there. You know, I've raced with Jacob for quite a bit of time, and he's always someone who's kind of seesawed on the wheel. His inputs aren't going to be as smooth as some of these other drivers. I would say like someone like Tyler Curley, really smooth, very gentle with the car. And Quill is always someone who's pushed that car as hard as he can everywhere he goes, and that's why he's out here leading the race. That's why he's been so dominant here in the Prestige Cup Series. Well, change of position back here. Wyatt Thompson gets around the 67. Reeves dropping a couple spots. Reeves is actually going to come down pit road here. Maybe going to try to split this stage. Remember, pits will close this lap as we get ready to end the stage here on lap 12. Like Zach Case also down pit road. So I'll put Wyatt Thompson up into the top 10. Remember, the way that this works here is Zachary Beekman, you know, your league owner, he told me before the season starts, they're going to throw the stages around where a fuel run is going to be. So we can go about, I would say, 12 to 15 laps on fuel here at the Roval. So that's where they're going to throw the caution to give them enough time to at least get back around. But you see the 7 machine, Joseph Enright, getting a lot of pressure. 77 is going to make that pass up into the P9 position. Wyatt Thompson up into the P9 spot. And for now, everybody kind of single filed out, kind of running their own race. We'll go back to Jacob Quill. Already lapping some guys. And that's something that you didn't really think about. I guarantee you some of these guys are not thinking about going a lap down at a road course. Some of those guys, like the 66, he was running inside the top 5. Came down pit road. He's a lap down. The 45 just got lapped. That case, he came down pit road with an extended stop, it looks like. So maybe that was something else, but Jacob Cole gonna try to get around this 9 machine. Ooh! You're gonna get him at the line. Lap 12. If we do not get a caution, that means it's just going to be a stage. I don't know if we're going to get a complete stage break. And for these stages, I would say if I was a league owner, I would say you would want to end it when a leader crosses the line, just because, you know, 10th place is 50 seconds back from the field here. You know, that can really change some some pit strategies. We'll see if it might be the completion of lap 12. We'll have to see here. Tyler Helms. It's around Zachary Trevino. Looks like Trevino coming out of pit road. So that's just you're gonna have to look at this now. So Zachary Trevino comes out about 37 seconds behind your race leader. He was running back there in the P3 position. Came down pit road, and now sitting about 38-ish seconds behind your leader. You see that on your scoring pylon right there in 8th place. They look at Quill here. We just completed lap 12, this will definitely tell us that no stage caution. I think that's what a lot of everybody in here wants anyways. This caution's out. The caution's out for the completion of stage 1. Jacob Quill takes another stage here in the Prestige Cup Series. It's going to take a lot of time to get everybody back up to going. I mean, you look at even P2 back here at 39, 4 seconds back. You look at anybody on the lead lap. So the last car on the lead lap right now is going through the bus stop. That is TJ Henley. Jacob Quill is right there. I mean, so it's going to take a while for everybody to cycle through because TJ is going to have to basically do a complete other lap before he can pit. So it's been a chaotic first 13 laps. You know, you don't expect so many cars to be already in contention of going a lap down. Can you see the two Memorial cars back to back here? Back here in 14th and 15th. Eli McDonald right there in front. Now Quill will probably have to slow down to catch the pace car. You see that? That M2 BMW pace car. With stage 1 complete, I'm going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. Brought to you by our partners over at iRacing. So we'll be right back after our words from our sponsors.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to the Prestige Cup Series here at the Charlotte Roval. Brought to you by Backmarker. Use code PSRED10 at checkout. Also brought to you by Admin Box. Use code PRS Box at checkout to help support this league. And lastly, huge shout out to Team Foster for everything they do. Fundraiser. Team Foster is a non-profit who tries to get service dogs to veterans. So a big partnership with the Prestige Cup Series to try to get these veterans some service dogs. Trying to fundraise, I think, up to $1,000 is their goal for this week. So make sure to go support them and Team Foster and everything they do here. Green flag pit stops underway here. We see Jacob Quill coming down his pit stall. See lots of drivers down pit side. And with everybody knowing where all that is, that's going to switch up what happens here. Jacob Quill with an extended stop. You're going to see Geo Turpin, the 3 machine. You see the 39 coming on, the 45. Jacob Quill with an extended stop. I don't see any damage to that machine. Like Quill out of the car. Something that you can definitely identify in these is when a driver physically gets out of the car, the driver will pop out and you don't see any driver in that machine right there. So hopefully everything okay for the Quill machine. But definitely a big downfall for that driver right now. But with that all said and done, remember, a lot of these drivers knew that they were going to get a stage caution at the completion of lap 12. So we have some pit strategy. Zachary Trevino stayed out. I mean, pitted before this caution and stayed out to flip the stage. Gio Turpin looks like with a short stop. 7.8 seconds in the box, so maybe fuel only. It looks like no tires for that 42 machine. Doran Fisher, I think, will be the first out of our normal cars, I would say. Took 4 tires, took some fuel. And Nicholas Road back there in the top 30. You'll see Jacob Quill down pit side, so hopefully everything okay for him. Would like to say hello to everybody in the chat and at home. Don Purcell, Phil Fisher, RD Designs, and Greg Youngblood Jr. Appreciate you all for coming in and stopping by and chatting with us. Hello, Matthew, and as well in the chat. You should see the pace lights on the pace car go off this time, so we will go single file, and we will be choosing this time. Inside for Trevino. Gio Turpin will take that front row. Going Fisher inside. Nicholas Road outside. Aiden Lucas and Zachary Beekman in P6 up 18 spots from where he started. Jacob Quill back out on track. Going out of turn 4, going into turn 5 now. Hopefully everything's okay in that 29 camp. He's going to have to start all the way back in P16. Just led every lap here since this caution came out. He's got a lot of work ahead of him now. Do like this. He's been in first and he's been all the way back to 15th. I mean, there's no lower high. Hopefully everything's okay with that 29 machine. Going back up here. He hands his race lead over to his teammate, so honestly not the worst that could happen. Am I ready for Watkins Glen tomorrow? Well, we're going to be as ready as we can. It's a good thing we're doing the Charlotte Roval, right? It's going to give me a lot of practice for Watkins Glen tomorrow. See, the lights are off on that pace car. You see these drivers get lined up single file, double file. They get ready to go green once again to start stage 2. It's going to be aggressive. We saw what happened at the beginning of the race. We saw a lot of mistakes, a lot of, I would say, over-aggressive driving. Just trying to make up spots, trying to figure out what that car wants to do. And unfortunately, a lot of drivers paid for it. You can see the pace car take a hard left turn on the pit road. A little bit of a different start here at these road courses. We're going to be going green halfway through this last chicane here. And Zachary Trevino will lead us back to green to start your stage 2. Pretty clean start for this start of the stage. See the 39 trying to keep up with your 8 machine. Remember, the 39 was a little bit quicker than Trevino. Was in that P2 position behind Jacob Quill. We know the 39 is going to be aggressive to try to take this lead away while he can. He knows Jacob Quill's down and out. Oh, a little bit of a mistake out of the 8 machine. And allow the 39 to close in. 39 loose out at going back onto the oval. Lose a little bit of time down the straight to the 8. Back out of the first bus stop. Everybody's starting to get a little bit single file out. A little bit of a battle back here for the P5 position. Youngblood Tyler Helms. Tyler Helms has looked really racy all race long. Something I've noticed about this 48, he's been very, I would say, disciplined, and he's someone who's not really using up these curbs at all. He's trying to keep the car on the asphalt, not really willing to use up a lot of the track when it comes to the bumps and these turtles compared to some other drivers, and it's doing him so good right now. He's got a clean car underneath him. Obviously, you can use some of those turtles to get some speed out of it, but this 48 has been really disciplined about keeping the car on. You know, you would say the racing surface. Ooh, a little bit of a sideways out of there, but making a lot of time doing it. So, who am I to judge? See the 1 machine, Tyler Youngblood, with a little bit of a better run back onto that oval. He's gonna clear that 48. 48 cleared him, got around him, and fortunately this one we talked about in the pre-race where it was supposed to be the spotlight for that Philip Wagner memorial, but had some computer issues, so we ended up going to TJ Hindley, who's also running that memorial scheme for the fallen police officer, but it's been having some computer issues all night long, having some internet issues. You're going to see a little bit of a blinking out of this 1 machine potentially. But Wyatt trying to hold on to this top 5 right now as we speak. Back here, we're going to have to look at Jacob Quill. Already moved his way up in the P7. Started P15. We should have actually looked at him going through the field, but we know he's going to be quick. And now he's got some clean track in front of him to start to lay down some laps. Was about 1.5 seconds off of his teammate who's leading the race in Trevino. But I imagine he had to try to get around and negotiate around some of these cars to get up here into the P7 position. A little battle inside the top 10. Bushnell trying to get back to the back end of this number 7 of Joseph Enright. Enright actually starting to put a gap on this 25, so I have a feeling that maybe the 7 got around the 25 and is starting just to pull away just ever so slightly. I mean, you have to be so disciplined to continue to run clean laps here. It's you know, it's one of the more rewarding tracks that you can come to here on the schedule. It's also one of the hardest. TJ Henley with a handful, and Zachary Beekman, he's fallen all the way back to 15th after starting P6 to start stage 2. We do see a lot of front end damage to that to that 95 machine. That could definitely affect the handling of this machine. And Zachary started to fall off the pace here. To the 45. Eskridge just has not been able to catch a break. Every race we've gone to, there's been something that's happened, whether that's going a lap down at the wrong time or something right now. First car lap down, though, was that 45 machine. What has it? Through handful of this 9 machine is, oh, the 9 makes a mistake now. Commentator's curse. Fun to build to me. 9 was all over the back end of that 45. Now has pressure from that, it's like 55 machine of goalie. Goalie's on the lead lap. So, and this, so is the 73 of McDonald. And he's got this 9 machine of Devin Gavin, who's a lap car. So, you think that they're going to try to get around this lap car the best he can. But remember, there's another lap car up the road here in the 45 of Eskridge. So, it's going to be interesting. A battle starting to loom up here for the lead. This 39 has started to reel back in your race leader. Gavino starting to slip just a little bit. Went on another hard braking zone into the first chicane. The two pretty even. The 8 with a little bit of a better advantage out of that first bus stop. The lap car getting out of the way of the 39, getting out of the way of the race leader. He knows that this isn't really his place to fight right now. And I think that 8 is just a little bit better on the second part of the track, but I think the 39 is just a little bit better on this part of the track. You see him reel that 8 machine once again back here into the infield section. Closed in a lot in that turn 5 section. And is back right up onto the tailgate of this 8 machine, coming back onto the oval. Once again, we'll go back to the 8 machine. Go back to that camera angle. This works as well, I guess. That 8 is just a little bit better on the second half of this lap here. And really, that's all that matters. As long as you can stay ahead on the second part to get to the line first, there's nothing that 39 can really do to get back up. Like the 87 has gotten around the 48 of Tyler Helms. And Lucas up into the P5, and we continue. We have still not been able to really pinpoint this Quill machine, but he's already up into the P4 machine. Certainly setting the, I mean, he is the fastest car on track right now. Not by much, but he did ran 3/10 quicker than your race leader. And Gio Turpin back here, 8 seconds off the pace. Just trying to ride it out in third right now, but let's get a good battle for this race lead. I'd like to go to some other battles, but this one is just too good. We had a lot better second half of that lap to keep him within striking distance of the 8. You see him trying to be as passive and trying to be as clean as he can. Side by side. Gonna make that pass work. Now, does Trevino have anything for this 39? We'll go back and talk. I think this battle is over for a little bit now. We'll go back and talk about Jacob Quill. You know, he's probably the guy to beat once again, but he has an 11-second gap to your race leader right now. And right now, your leader's only running about a half a second slower, so put that into two. He needs 22 laps to get theirs. If it goes mistake-free and he consistently runs a half a second quicker. And now we're chomping down onto almost... Right now, I think we are at 22 to go. But at this pace, Jacob Quill is on pace to catch your leader going to the line. So it's going to be close. And this 29 continually go mistake-free to go run down that 39 machine. Obviously, those two were battling it out. We don't know how much harder that 39 can go. I guarantee you that Jacob is going full out right now. See him already trying to run down Gio Turpin in this 42 machine. And Gio's had a fast car, but he just has not been able to run the times that these leaders have. It looks like a huge mistake out of the Zachary Trevino, though. Ran about 5 seconds slower than the rest of your field. A huge mistake out of the 8 machine. He starts to fall back to the clutches of Gio Turpin and Jacob Quill. We'll keep your camera right here on this 24 and this 42. This 29 in the 42. I mean, look how much deeper this Quill can just drive in the corner compared to this 42 machine. I mean, he gained 4 or 5 car lengths just in the one braking zone. It's incredible what he can do here. You don't see a lot of this in a league like this. You see some guys that will show up and be, you know, the best guys on the ovals or the best guy on the short tracks. But you don't see those guys show up and be dominant in every sort of track we go to. Now, Quill was the dominant car all season, and you come to the road course, you would figure, okay, maybe you might see some guys start to outrace Quill, but no. Quill once again out here showing that he is the guy to beat every week. Not a full-time driver, but he's just out here to trophy hunt, and that's all he's going to do. Now, Quill, having to battle and everything, has not closed the gap to your race leader, so he's going to need some help. I feel like to get back to your race leader, whether that's Gordon Fisher making a mistake, whether that's someone slowing up Fisher like a lap car, or maybe Zachary Trevino somehow miraculously gaining that 5 seconds back. Quill up to the podium rung after having to start P16 to start stage 2. Do we have a battle back here? The 95 getting passed by the 73, both of them with a lot of front end damage. And McDonald will move up into the 12th place. Ooh, a little bit of a bumper to the 73. '73 will start to pull away. While we have time, everybody's kind of spread out. trying to run their own race. Let's go through the field here, presented by HVTV. Jordan Fisher currently leading here at the Roval. See those stats right there. Has been as low of third, so has been the top 3 driver all race long. It's continuing to pull away from the rest of the field. Zachary Trevino back there in P2. Led some laps there. Falling back into P2. Just trying to run it out right here. Jacob Quill, potentially the guy to beat. Seen back there in P3. About 10.5 seconds behind your race leader, Gio Turpin, back here in P4. Did not qualify, but has driven his way up here inside the top 5. Tyler Helms having a great race. Look at this. Started 28th. And up into P5. Aiden Lucas, back here in P6, has been basically in the top 5, top 6 area all race. Pretty solid one for that 87 machine. Oliver Quinney, qualified P6. Stayed back up here in this 6-7 range. Joseph Enright. Up and down day for him, but he's driven up into the P8 position. White Youngblood in that Memorials scheme. And his kind of teammate right here, DJ Handley, also in that Philip Wagner machine. He's going to round out your top 10. The big man Bushnell actually starting to run down TJ just a little bit. And Lucas. Like Helms maybe coming out pit road. As we ran 13 laps on this stint. Has decided to come down. This will make it a 17 laps stint, I believe, for the rest of that race for that 48 machine. Remember, we talked about this. 17 laps of fuel here. So it's not 100% fuel, so they are going to have to pit a little bit earlier than you would normally think. You know, that we had that stage caution at lap 12, and you know, I was told by Zach, your league owner, that they're going to always try to call that stage around where the fuel window is. So we know it's at around probably 12 to 15-ish. But we see Zachary Trevino, he's ran 18 laps. So interesting to see, man. I guess you can run well over 15 then if this 8 machine is ran 18, but I guarantee you're not going to be able to make it to the finish, though. You see now Gio Turpin down pit road. You see him exit pit road to come back on track. With 16 to go here at the Roval. By Youngblood getting ran down by Tyler Helms in the 48 machine. Helms, as always, every time we see him on track, he's passing cars, doing something. Remember, Helms just came down pit road, so he got those fresh Goodyear tires. Ooh, a little bit of a mistake out of the one. Slaps the wall there, but is able to stay ahead for a little bit in front of this 48 machine. But the 48 just came out of pit road. This is his first lap out from the pits. So there could be a little bit of an advantage of the one right now. With these new next gens, the tires they're cold, and they're really cold, and they're slippy and they're slidey out of the pits. So it's gonna take a good lap or so for the tires to heat up on this 48 machine to get going again. See, the one's gonna let this 48 go. Oh, the 48's gonna miss the corner. He's gonna have a slowdown. He's gonna have to serve right there. We'll get right back on it though. We might have a little wreck back here. Like McDonald. A lot of damage on that 73. We see he's at another issue here. Oh, man. 45 gets around. Oh, some contact with the 45. We saw you had some issues on our timing and scoring. I was trying to show you guys, but... See him now down pit side. Not the race you wanted to see out of that 73 machine. Something I didn't mention in the pre-show, obviously, Peter Terrio not in the booth with me tonight. Had some prior commitments that he cannot, that made him unavailable to be here in the HVTV booth with me tonight. So obviously you've just been hearing me in the booth. But we're trying our best to put on a good show for you guys at home. Jacob Quill did come down pit road. Was able to keep that P3 position, and that's just really shown how spread out these cars have been. You know, he came in and out of pit road and kept his spot. Be cool getting around the 9 machine. Now with the 34. Seconds behind your race leader, and that's something you have to look at now. Only 34 seconds, and your leader still has to come down pit road. 18 laps on this stint, and you got to think that it's, there's no way that this 39's saving. He's gonna have to come down sooner or later, and it's gonna be a battle between who tires here. And Quill has really put the pedal down here to try to catch up, even with this. And like I said, only 34 seconds back. Looks like a stop here is around 30 to 35 seconds. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. No one within really the vicinity of anybody else. But still some drivers who still have to come down pit road. It is your race leader of Jordan Fisher in the 39. It's like Aiden Lucas still will have to come down pit side. He's got 19 laps on that stint. Joseph Enright in the 7 will have to come down sooner or later. DJ Henley will also have to come down at some time. Benjamin Bushnell in the 25 has not pit yet. Everybody else has. So, it's going to be interesting. And Jordan has been losing a lot of time to this 29 now. He's got it down to now almost 33 laps. 33 seconds, my apologies. TJ down pit road now. And when does this 39 decide to come down pit side? LA Holmes gets around to the 7 machine. Puts him up into the P6 spot. Ooh, a little bit of a slide out of the 48. What a save. Zachary Trevino is actually starting to back up to Jacob Quill. And I'm not sure if it's the lap traffic. Looks like he's battling with the 45 right now. Looks like the 45 of Eskridge will let him go, but the 8 overcooks the corner. Trying to get around them. That's the stuff you cannot do if you want to try to stay ahead of your teammate here in this 29. Remember, Trevino is running full time. That's why he's in this 8 machine. Versus Jacob Quill in the 29. No, we know that the Quill performance machines are, you know, kind of doing an RCR mock team, right? And that's why you see the 29 and the 33 as part-timers. Oh! Last second move to get underneath that 45. But Zachary Trevino is running full time, so he actually needs the points more than Jacob Quill, but we know Jacob Quill isn't just going to pull over just because the 8 needs the points. He's going out here and he's trophy hunting, and he's within, you know, 2.5 seconds. See Tyler Helms up to the P5 position now. It's around Aiden Lucas. Lucas with a lot of damage that we missed. See if this is I already had this damage before. We'll see if we can find where he got this. Feel like it's been a little bit since he's had that. He drops back to P6. But Jacob Quill, he's there. And he's running down the 8 machine. I just want to see the time he gains here. Look at that. I mean, look how much time he gains down these heavy braking zones. Just like that, he's within a second. I mean, he's right there on this 8 machine. Battle for the P2 position. The 8 makes a mistake. Jacob Quill will easily say, "Thank you so much. I'll take that. See ya." You're going to take over that P2 position. Now the question is, when does this 39 come down pit road? Unless he's got enough, I think it's a lose-lose situation now. If you wanted to pit, you should have pitted a while ago to at least get out with that 29 machine if you think you have the pace to keep up with them. Because now, I mean, Quill was within 30 seconds. He's chopped it down underneath 30 seconds. We know a pit stop is at least, you know, 33, 35. So regardless of what you do now, unless you can somehow save, you're going to come out behind this Quill machine. I want to see if there's even a possibility that he's trying to save fuel here. And it sounds like no fuel saving out of this 39 machine. So how much more can he go? 7 to go, coming to 6 to go now. And you know, he's got a 28-second gap. Can he go 7 more laps? I don't think he can, because you look at everybody else on track. If they could have gone the rest of the way, I feel like they would have, right? I know tire fall off has been a big deal with this new update, but I don't think it's enough to where it would negate people to come down and take tires or do a pit stop. And not the lap that he wanted either. 23.5 to Jacob Quill's 21.8. Have a little bit of a battle for the P3 position now. Ammons with those fresh tires has found some speed in this 48 machine. I hate to talk about these same guys, but there's, you know, unfortunately there's 6 drivers on the lead lap. You know, the 39 to 29 has had remarkable pace and has put a lot of guys' laps down. Zachary Trevino out of the race, it looks like. Sitting back there in the P10 spot, he's off the track. P3 now back to P10. And that race for the number 8 goes from bad to worse. No, needed to keep that P2 position. Made a mistake. Let his teammate by. No issue. And I don't know if it's if it was an internet mistake or an internet issue, or if he crashed. I would have saw on our timing and scoring if he would have wrecked, so I think maybe at 8 might have blinked out. And now the best battle on track is for this P4 position. Gio Turpin trying to hold on to this P3 spot. But Tyler Helms has found some pace. Five to go at the Roval. Oh, it's a 48 into the wall hard. Doesn't matter, he's already up to the tailgate of this machine. Side by side going into the bus stop. Who's going to outbrake who? A 42 with the mistake. Gio Turpin trying to outbrake the 48, and he's going to have a slowdown. Tyler Helms takes over the P3 position. What has happened to the 39? '39 with the pit stop. 39 cannot make it. That's what we thought. Came down pit road. A little splash and go. And there's Jacob Quill. What does the 39 have? Can he hold off this 29 at all? Four to go, coming to 3 to go, and this is Jacob Quill. Best part on the track to make up time. I don't know how he could do it. He could just drive it in so much deeper than everybody else. Well, with the fresher tires than this 39. We know this 39 took fuel only, now side by side going into turn 3. 39 is going to shut the door. Will's going to try to make a look down there. 39 trying to drive defensively. Well over the back end of this 39. And Quill with a mistake. Could allow the 39 to get on the outside. Doesn't matter. Jacob Quill back to the front with 2 to go. Does the 39 have anything in the tank? Remember, we talked about Jacob Quill, part-time driver, so he's out here just to do what he's doing now. Come out here and dominate races. Had a mistake, had to start P16 to start stage 2. But I don't care. You know, I know I'm the fastest driver, and he just showed it right here. Drove a P16. Come back up here and take the lead with 2 laps to go. What a good fight by Jordan Fisher, but fortunately, just not enough. Now all Quill needs is one good, clean last lap. He's going to bring home another win for Quill Performance. White flag out in the air for Jacob Quill. Down into 3. And then the 4 and 5. Only 6 drivers on the lead lap. And it's been that kind of a day for some of these drivers. It's been that kind of day for the top 3. You know, the heartbreak for the 8 of Trevino was a top 3 car. But unfortunately, some issues or something plugged him today. Trevino looks like we'll finish P14 after having a top 3 car. Coming to the backstretch chicane for the last time. The only thing separating this 29 from the checkered flag is this last chicane down here into 3 and 4. Took the pull here. Had some controversy, but comes back and he's going to win here at the Roval. What a win by Jacob Quill. What a dominating performance. Jacob Quill wins here at the Roval. Gordon Fisher's going to come out P2. P3, Tyler Helms. Gio Turpin comes home with a P4. Oliver Quinney with the top 5. Good run for him. Joseph Enright. Really good run for him in P6. And Wyatt Youngblood. Now, I was hoping to get to talk to him tonight. Having him in the podium spot with, you know, that scheme he has on. But, you know, a lot of heavy hearts tonight with the passing of Officer Philip Wagner. You know, killed in the line of duty, but you know, I know everybody over there. With the Lorraine Police Department and all of Wagner's family and everything, appreciate what Wyatt's doing here, and running a pain in his memoriam. Once again, prayers coming out to everybody, all the way from the Prestige Racing League, all the way back here to our booths over here for High Velocity TV. We have our deepest condolences for the families of Philip Wagner, and pray that, you know, you guys can get through this the best that you can. But Jacob Quill, I'm bringing it down here. Quill Performance seemed to was going to have a really good day, but unfortunately, some of those Quill Performance drivers did not have the day that they wanted. We'll take a look at your race rundown and unofficial results presented by High Velocity TV. Jacob Quill wins at the Roval. Gordon Fisher P2, Tyler Helms P3. Rounding out that podium, Gio Turpin P4. And Oliver Quinney runs out that top 5. And Joseph Enright rounds out the lead lap cars here in P6. Wyatt Youngblood, TJ Henley, Benjamin Bushnell, Zach Beekman will round out your top 10. And the cars on the lead lap, one lap down. Devin Galvin, 2 laps down. Gabriel Ngoli, 3 laps down. Alex Eskridge, 6. And Zachary Trevino, Justin Wilkes, Aiden Lucas, Eli McDonald, Wyatt Thompson, Dalton Bernius, and Nicholas Rode going to round out that top 20. Brandon Kiger, Jeffrey Herrick, Zach Case, Reeves Simmons, Timothy Powell, James Jones, Tyler Curley out early, Jonathan Amos, Jackson Brown, and Jake Collins going to round out that top 30. And lastly, Chris Emerson and Frank Skimmerhorn out early as well. Well, what a race, what a performance by Jacob Quill. And we'll get ready to talk to you top 3 after some words from our sponsors over at iRacing. And we will get ready to talk to you top 3 finishers and round out tonight's broadcast here from the Charlotte Roval. Welcome to the post-race show for the Prestige Cup Series here at the Charlotte Roval, presented by Backmarker. Make sure to use code PSRA10 at checkout over at backmarker.com. Also presented by Iron Box. Make sure to use code PSRBOX at checkout if you guys are looking for any type of button boxes for whether it is admitting or just for your rig. If you're looking for any quality button boxes or anything, make sure to look no further than Admin Box. Also, thank you to Team Foster for everything they do for helping support the Prestige Cup Series and the Prestige Racing League. Obviously, Team Foster, a nonprofit, helping to get service dogs to wounded veterans who need it. So, once again, thank you to Team Foster for everything they do. But we're going to get ready to talk to your top 3 finishers for tonight's race. Let's get ready to talk to your P3 finisher at number 48. Let's talk to go ahead and talk to Tyler Helms. Hey Tyler, it's Christian up here in the HPTV booth. You got a copy? Well, definitely an eventful race for you. You know, kind of drove your way up through the field, but I mean, we were documenting right here. Started back there in P28. Looks like maybe you got through that lap 1 fiasco and then just kind of drove up your way up through the field up into this P3 position. Looks like those tires really worked out for you on that last pit stop. But you know, walk us through your race and walk us through, you know, how you got your way up here into this P3 position.
Well, I went in, no practice going into the session. I actually didn't get to complete. I didn't complete a lap until 40 minutes into the practice session. I was couldn't handle the car or whatever. Was locking up too easily. Was spinning out with the like rear kicking out and crap like that. And then we tweaked some crap around. Really unlucky during qualifying. Spun off of the final chicane and what would have been a decently solid lap, and I spun all the way to the bottom, and I couldn't get it stopped before our cross start finish line, so I didn't get to get a lap in. You know, turn 1 obviously was eventful, how you know it always is at the Roval, and you know we got through that, and I think honestly it took out a lot of the fast guys, and we just slowly drove through the field. I think got up to like 5th or 6th before the stage, maybe like 8th in that area, and I had a little bit of damage. Fixed that, and we were just, I don't know, something happened in the car, magical, and it started flying. And then I was like 7 seconds behind the 42 when I pitted. He pitted the lap after me, and somehow I was just gaining every lap. And obviously Trevino quitting or whatever happened to him was pretty lucky to get. That's the reason we're up to 3rd. But I mean, it was tough to drive, but we got it done, and we'll take 3rd. I mean, potentially 2nd now if they're talking about giving Quill a penalty for the pit road crap at the end of the stage.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be interesting to see what they do with the 29. We caught that on stream with, you know, some questionable stuff with the 29, but obviously that's not up to us. But you know, when you talk about how the car kind of went the lap, do you think that just happened to be, you know, luck, or do you think it's just, you know, you running enough laps the way you kind of felt what the car needs to do at the end to kind of catch up to the 42 there at the end, coming to the line?
Well, the main part I was struggling was the final chicane, and I was starting to figure out just braking early and easing back into the brakes or whatever, and then just going for that extra speed. And then the other chicane, I was struggling with a decent amount, but right before the stage when Zach pitted, I seen when we were trying to, like on the couple laps or whatever, he was taking more of like the blue curb. So I started taking more of it when I would turn left into the chicane, and then it started to be a lot better, and a lot quicker, and I was able to get the throttle down way better than what I was able to earlier into the race. Obviously no more damage, which I had the damage right before the stage. And I think it was also a lot to do with the track temp. I mean, the track temp's been going up throughout the entire session. I think it was like 108 or something like that during practice, and it's up to 122 now. So I think with the hotter track or whatever, the car was just um, more. I don't know how to explain it. I think it was just I had a lot more grip, and I normally do a lot better on hotter track on road courses compared to colder tracks. But I don't know if the 42 didn't take tires on that last pit stop, but if he didn't, then that's the reason why I passed him. And if he did, then I guess I just figured the track out throughout the race. I mean, I was getting a lot quicker throughout the whole thing too. I think my best time in practice was 22.7, and my best time in the race was also 22.7. But I had a lot more 22s and low 23s throughout the race too, so that also helps.
Oh, it looks like Gio Turpin did not take tires at the end there, so that would also probably, fall into your wheelhouse there. But still, regardless of that, came home with the P3. Obviously, got a little bit of luck with Trevino, whether it was having an issue or just leaving the race a little bit early. Give you that extra spot there. But before we let you go, is there anybody you want to shout out for this P3 finish? Any friends, family, sponsors, anybody you'd like to thank for this podium
Yeah,
spot?
yeah, Lowe's, that's the sponsor on the car now. I mean, we were running the WeatherTech, but I thought it was messed up that Lowe's wasn't on the 48, so we got a little paint scheme change. Ken Norton Davis, my team owner, JJ Moore, part team owner, Mach 5 Racing, they give us the quick cars every week, and it's back to back top three finishes and a win last night, so it's been a pretty solid last week.
I definitely agree, and hopefully you can, continue to carry this momentum into next week. But besides that, we're gonna drag you back out to prepare for next week, and hopefully we're gonna talk to you next week. Hopefully in a better spot.
Yep, thank you.
You. That was your third place finisher, Tyler Holmes, and let's go ahead and talk to you, Jordan Fisher. Just a little too late, coming to third to go, lost the lead, and just especially that 29, I think was just on rails the whole race and just could not get back to him. Let's go ahead and talk to your P2 finisher and Jordan Fisher. Hey Jordan, it's Christian up here in the HVTV booth. You got a copy?
I got a copy, yes, sir.
Well, I would say you had probably a top two car all race, and looks like maybe just came down to pit strategy to whoever won that race between you and Quill. But walk us through your race, walk us through how the car drove, and walk us through maybe what you need to do a little bit different to maybe keep that 29 behind you, if you could.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was a lot of fun chasing down that 29 through the first 12 laps before the first stage break came out. So just kind of following his line, I was able to learn quite a bit with what he was doing out there, and then trying to kind of save for the long run with the tires. And obviously, after the stage break ended there and going for the final run. Obviously, definitely lesson learned. I probably should have pitted right around when Quill pitted. I was informed when he did come in and took the risk of staying out completely and not even taking tires. So I was just trying to, conserve my tires throughout the entire race, pretty much run consistent times. But it's one of those races where I'm really happy with the P2 result, but there definitely some stuff I'll be taking away from this race and learning to, because we got Fuji later on in the season, so I'm really excited to get there and execute there.
Yeah, Fuji's gonna be interesting. I don't think I've ever seen a next gen run at Fuji yet, less in a league in a league setting. So it's gonna be interesting to see how you guys take maybe some of this stuff from here into that race. But yeah, Les, looking at this last pit stop and this strategy, right? You came down. It looks like you took fuel only. Do you think that had anything to do with maybe hoping that 29 gets you a little bit quicker? Obviously, we talked with Tyler, and he said that the tires is what probably helped him get back to the 42 to get him for P3. Do you think maybe if you had the time to give to take tires, you would have done that?
Yeah, I think honestly, it's just the timing of the pit, like I said, with my mistake. So rather than waiting till like lap 41 to pit and take just fuel, maybe I should have maybe run around like lap 30 or 28. Kind of would seem to be an ideal number to get to the end of the race from that point. So I knew that once I kind of committed to staying out, and he had gained, the 29 had gained about 12 to 13 seconds on me towards the before I kind of came into the pits. So I knew it was going to be close. I honestly, I was happy enough just the fact that it came out ahead of him at that point, because at that point, I knew that I was going to be settling for a P2 finish, and was really thrilled with that. And kind of just understood that, I made the mistake that I should have pitted a little bit early and take all 4 tires, and gave myself a shot at it. Because, right when he had pitted, I still had about 12, 13 second gap. So if I would have kind of timed that right around when he pitted, take all 4 and keep that pace and the gap, in between us, then maybe it wouldn't have been as close. But regardless, like I said, I'm happy with the result out here. It was a really good race. It's a very fast driver. Can't wait to get racing against him more often.
Definitely agree. You seem, I would say you had probably a top 2, top 3 car throughout the race, but I mean, you kind of put it perfectly said, right? Just kind of mistimed it, and when you mistime it, you kind of just are continually behind the ball here. But despite that, P2 can't complain about it. Not you didn't have the pace, just Jacob Cole just a little bit outsparred the field here, and even then, talking to Tyler, they said there might be some penalties handed out to the 29 with some pit strategy shenanigans or something. So I'd keep my chin up, but you said heading into Fuji, a lot to learn there. But before we let you go, is there anybody you want to thank for this P2 finish? Any friends, family, sponsors, anybody you'd like to thank for this podium spot?
Yeah, I want to thank Hardy Designs for continuing to make awesome liveries for our team. So it was awesome kind of showing it out, racing this thing out there. And then I want to thank HBR Racing, all the guys over there continuing to work on this hot rod from league to league and racing these next gens. A lot of fun. I want to thank AG Motorsports, another great group of guys. And then I want to thank Grumpy Motorsports for allowing me to race for this this hot rod in this league. This is an awesome, exciting league to be a part of, and Grumpy Graphics also being a great on board with the 39 machine. I want to thank my family, friends, always supported me over my just sim racing career in general. I do a lot of GT3 racing, so that's kind of my road course background. So getting into the oval side of it, it's been a big learning curve with this next gen NASCAR, but we'll continue to bring it from track to track and learn. And yeah, appreciate everybody. Thanks for broadcasting as well. Appreciate it.
We appreciate the kind words here up here in the booth, but we're gonna drag you back out to get ready for next week, and hopefully we'll talk to you maybe back up here in Victory Lane sooner or later.
You're the fish.
Yep. Have a good rest of the night. And that was your P2 finisher, Jordan Fisher. Like you said, kind of put through a T. I think he could have won that race. Just didn't have the best pit strategy there. But we're gonna talk to the man of the hour, by far the quickest car of the race, and well-deserved victory. But we're gonna go ahead and talk to your race winner here, Jacob Quill. Hey Jacob, is Christian up here in the HVTV booth? You got a copy?
Yeah.
Well, 17 of 47, 46 laps led, I don't think really tells the story of your race tonight. Obviously, was out there, led every lap in that first stage, and I guess you can tell us what happened that made you have to start in the back there for that stage 1, and didn't really matter. Still drove your way up into the lead here with coming to 2 to go. So just walk us through your race, walk us through the pit strategy to get you back up here to the front.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. It was a hard day. I was in that first stage with around 2 to go in the stage. Behind a lap car, the dirty air hit me. Going the corner I did a burnout in on the wall. That's where I smacked my right front on it. Gave me toe damage because the lap car in front of me. He didn't do anything wrong. I just, went into the corner hot. Didn't expect the car to take off towards the wall. And his dirty air certainly didn't help, and it clobbered the wall and gave me around 5 minutes of repairs. So then, once I got to the stage, I had to stay in the pits. I actually only got half of that fixed. So we ran with a broken race car the entire time. And the second, run, when I did pit, I came out of the pits and pits were closed. So they gave me a black flag. according to iRacing, they were closed, but I'm not going to argue because the officials already made their decision. But I don't know what kind of penalty it's going to be, but likely I'm going to get some sort of points penalty just because the call was not done correctly. So I practically shouldn't be here. And from there on, we just I just came from the back and was running some good laps. The car was really bad because of the tow, and we kept hammering on, and it got to the point where I decided to early pit the leader, and those tires, they rocket shipped me by like a second per lap, and before you know it, I was up there, and the leader pit, and we had a little bit of a fight. He didn't take any tires, and I think that's what messed up his day. He really should have pitted earlier, but then we just drove it to victory lane.
Yeah, we talked to Jordan about that, and he ultimately said, yeah, he kind of messed up the pit strategy. He hit a little bit too late, and when he pitted, he saw that you were, around like 34, 35 laps back, 34 seconds back, and was kind of forced to not take two to at least get out ahead of you to give himself a chance. And fortunately, those freshies really do matter. I mean, that was you and the P3 of Holmes who took the tires to good use and made their way up to the front here. But despite that, like you said, I would say a top 2, top 3 car. And some would even say a top 1 car, even with the damage. Was able to drive your way back up here. Like I said, 17 laps out of the 46 led doesn't really tell the story here. But still a pretty, I mean, despite what happened to you, still a really good day coming out here, winning here, despite, the potential penalties. But before we let you go, is there anybody you want to thank for this win here at the Roval?
Yeah, obviously, I want to thank my guys at Precision Speed Solutions. You can use code HOUSE15 for 15% off on checkout when you go buy our setups. They're only $8, so you add that 15%, and you're down to like $6.50. So we build some fast setups every week. I also want to thank my my teammates Zachary Trevino and Nicholas Rode. We were doing some communication, and ultimately something happened to Zach at the end of the race and had to quit the game, and it was unfortunate, but. Obviously, yeah, thanks to the Quill Speed Performance guys as well, and my whole team. I'm pretty happy with the kind of group we got here, and also thanks to Jordan for being a really good sport about everything after the race. He was like, he's like, I look forward to racing you. You always give me a good challenge, and I'm thankful that someone doesn't hate me for once. So, so I got to thank all of them.
I definitely appreciate. Yeah, I could definitely appreciate the good sportsmanship and kind of like the brotherly love of stuff, because like you said, it can be pretty easy to get aggravated at some people, when they come out here and dominate like you have. So I mean, you look at Jimmy Johnson back in the day, Kyle Busch. So I mean, it's nice to hear that you have some backing here in the league. It's nice to hear. But besides that, we're gonna let you go down there, prepare for next week at Charlotte. And hopefully we'll talk to you back here in Victory Lane. That was Jacob Quill here, your race winner. No. Regardless of, this suspension or whatever, you're going to give him a points penalty, whatever the admins do. Despite all that, he had a really good race. Showed that he had a car to beat, even with damage. He was by far the best driver here, and he showed it. So, but besides that, I guess it's time to start your post-race show here, brought to you by HVTV. And like we said, just what a great race. I feel like there was a lot of dynamic racing. Obviously, we had a lot of cars that wrecked out. We said only 6 cars finished on the lead lap. Even then, you look at Joseph Enright was borderline going to go a lap down there. No, he was looks like it said 1:27 behind, and which is interesting because it looks like everybody especially the leaders were running 1:23s. So it's interesting to see that. But besides that, you had some guys who came to the field and like Tyler said, that lap 1 caution really caused a lot of fast drivers to have their night ended early. You look at someone like Tyler Curley, who's seems like to be a consistent favorite to come up here and win. Look at Wyatt Thompson, Brandon Kiger, Zachary Trevino had a something happen late in the race. Alex Eskridge got caught up in a wreck early. Wyatt Youngblood with his internet, unfortunately didn't get the finish I think he wanted. And it made it for an interesting race, and obviously the Jacob Quill, Jordan Fisher battle at the end was kind of the icing on the cake, right? It really showed the kind of strategy, that you could still have at road courses. And especially with this new update with the next gen, it really has showed that there is still kind of a strategy game that you can play. I remember back in the day with the old next gen, it was faster to not take tires. You take fuel only, and you run the race on that set of tires. You maybe pit once if you spin out and really kill your tires. But now, tire wear really is a thing that matters, and you saw it tonight. But besides that, I think it's time to call it for everybody at home. Once again, my name is Christian Delgado, your lead producer and commentator. No Peter Terry on the booth tonight, but hopefully we can get him back next week for your race at Charlotte. And speaking of that, we'll be right back here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. No road course. We'll be racing on the oval. So you guys should be becoming very familiar with this racetrack. Like I said, but once again, we're going to go ahead and end the stream with another memorial for, obviously, Philip Wagner lost his life on the 23rd. And once again, praying for all of his family, everybody involved with that. But besides that, guys, hope everybody has a great rest of the night. And we'll see you guys tomorrow for the AWC Cup Series. Right back here on High Velocity TV. I hope everybody has a great rest of the night, and we'll see you guys soon.